Good morning. I'm so happy to see all of you here this morning. My name is Enos Ragland, and I am the founding president of 100 Black Men of Madison. I'm also, in my day job, deputy mayor for administration and finance for the city of Madison. I will be your moderator today, as well as your master of ceremonies. Unfortunately, J.R. Sims, who would be the moderator of the competition, is recovering from the nasty viruses that we've all been dealing with this year, and let me know last night that he might not be able to make it, and then at 6:30 this morning let me know that he would not be able to make it. He wasn't up to it. So I haven't done this in a number of years, so please bear with me, and I know we'll get through it and be successful in doing that. So welcome again. How are we feeling this morning? All right, ready to go, ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready for winter to let us go. It seems to leave for a little bit and then come back and say, one more thing. Okay, I'm gonna give you a chill for a little bit longer, but there's some hope later this week. But again, thank you all for being here. I want to thank the students who are participating. I want to thank the coaches who work with you. I want to thank the teachers and administrators, educators who supported you, and also want to thank your parents and guardians who supported you as well to help you be here and compete with us today. As one of the things that I've always recognized is that many times our children learn, or we teach them to compete athletically, but not so much academically. And this is an opportunity for them to compete academically, gain the confidence that they can learn, they can grow, and they can be successful academically as well as athletically. I want to start by bringing up William Greer. Bill is a member of the 100 Black Men Board of Directors, and he will provide a brief history of the 100 Black Men of Madison and 100 Black Men of America Incorporated. Please join me in welcoming Bill Greer.
Thank you, Enos. Good morning. We are very proud of this competition, and we try to get it off on the right foot by letting you know a little bit about ourselves. We are the 100 Black Men of Madison, Wisconsin. We are part of a national organization called the 100 Black Men of America. That organization started in 1963 in New York City. Started by a group of business and civic leaders who were concerned about problems in the African American community. Problems that included low academic achievement, poverty, family fragmentation, economic underdevelopment, and things of that nature. These were men who took it upon themselves, after having done well themselves, to give back to their community. They included men like Livingston Wingate, who went on to become a Supreme Court justice in the state of New York, David Dinkins, who became the mayor of New York subsequently, Andrew Hatcher, who was the deputy press secretary for John F. Kennedy, and Jackie Robinson, who, as you know, was a retired baseball legend and civil rights leader. They decided that they wanted to focus in 4 areas: academic achievement, economic development, mentoring, and health and wellness. Focusing upon these 4 areas, they began to work in the African American community, and they had very notable success. So much so that the idea of the 100 began to spread into other states and communities around the country. The first expanded chapter was in New Jersey, started by Dr. William Haley. In 1986, the chapters across the country were beginning to think about incorporating as a national organization. And in their national convention in Washington, D.C., they decided to incorporate as the 100 Black Men of America. In 1994, our founding president, Enos Ragland, was in search of an organization that would bring together black men in this community to do good things. In his search, he found that the 100 Black Men of America was the best fit for us. And so he founded the organization along with several members who are still with us and actively participating. And we began our journey to basically improve the quality of life in the African American community. In the 24 years since, we have worked with a variety of community partners to bring about what we hope was academic improvement, what we hope will strengthen the community both psychologically, physically, and spiritually, and what we hope will enable our young people to see examples of success, of perseverance, and of achievement in the African American community. Our motto is, what they see is what they will be. And we try to conduct ourselves to the highest standards of commitment, community involvement, and conduct that's based upon that. This particular event has been one of our keystone events over the years, and in the 24 years of our participation, we have won the national championship 4 times. Those are your children and your students. And many of those young people have gone on to become leaders in this community and communities around the nation. We fully expect that tradition to continue, and we want to welcome you. We want to encourage you to encourage the young people who come to this stage. It's not very easy to sit up here and be quizzed and answer the level of questions that they will have to answer. So have a good day, and thank you for being here.
Next up, we'll have someone here who will speak to you and represent our biggest and our most grateful sponsor for these 24 years, and that's the Madison Metropolitan School District. And we are fortunate to have Dr. Tremaine Clarity here to give you a welcome from the school district. Welcome, please welcome Dr. Clarity.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so honored and privileged to be able to stand here before you in celebration of our middle school students. Again, I'm Dr. Tremaine Clarity. I'm Deputy Chief of Schools for middle schools. I'd like to speak on behalf of our entire school district and our leader, Dr. Jennifer Cheatham. But when you think about the middle school and the middle school experience, you are going to, in a few short minutes, be privileged to see what the excellence is truly about. You'll see our academic scholars that grace the halls of our middle schools come and give you a performance of knowledge that is not duplicated across the country. You know, I put our Madison students up against anyone, and that comes to show what their greatness that they exhibit when they go to the national championship for the African American History Bowl. But I also want to make sure that today you walk away with a true narrative of what the Madison Metropolitan middle schools actually provide in terms of academic excellence, as far as building character, as far as building a deep appreciation for the culture of the African American experience. That is in no shortage of the work of our staff, which many of them have graced us here today. If I could please have all of our principals, teachers, staff members, and anyone that represents Madison Metropolitan School District, please stand and be recognized for your brilliance. Again, I would like to, before we move forward, thank the 100 Black Men of Madison for putting on this event. It's the 24th occasion that this has come to light. But really, we're here to celebrate those students, the students that are here in front of you, that will certainly be in front of you. They are truly the best of our best. They've worked for months to prepare for this competition, as they've dug deep into African American history and have shared their knowledge, not only share their knowledge here today, but have shared it throughout their school. They are our leaders, they'll be our future leaders, and you'll see them on that true path to college and career readiness. With that, while this is a competition, the great thing about this competition is that there's never going to be a loser. There's no losers because all of us will walk away from here today with a greater knowledge of African American history. We'll have a greater knowledge of what it truly means to be a middle school scholar in Madison, and we'll have a greater knowledge of what this community really provides for the African American experience and how we will continue to grow that on a daily basis. So thank you again for being here. Thank you so much for supporting our youth. We truly, truly appreciate that, and get ready for a great performance by our young scholars. Thank you.
And Dr. Clarity is also a member of the 100 Black Men of Madison, so we appreciate him as well. I'm going to thank right now our sponsors. Special thank you to BMO Harris Bank, CUNA Mutual Foundation, Madison Gas and Electric, the Madison Metropolitan School District, the Madison Metropolitan School District TV 10, who are filming this event, and Asset Builders of America, Incorporated. Please give them a round of applause. Now I'll introduce you to some of the people who are helping to make this event a success today, and I will start with Derek Smith, who will be operating the scoreboard and the bracket board. That's Derek Smith here, okay. And we have our esteemed judges. We have Judge Dr. Dwight Perry, Dr. Perry, and also Judge Dr. Willie Larkin, Dr. Larkin. The most important job here today is held by Manny Scarborough, and that's the guy who will reset the buzzers. Please, Manny. I also want to thank our president, Dr. Floyd Rose, for all the work he's done and his leadership in keeping us as a great organization and moving forward in helping our community and helping our youth. Please give Dr. Rose a round of applause. And if you don't know who he is, he's the guy running around here with the wild gray hair. That looks like either Frederick Douglass or Einstein, whichever one you want to choose. Before I get into reading the competition rules, I want to do a couple housekeeping things. Please turn off or mute your cell phones, or you can put them on stun if you want, but we need them off so they do not interfere with the program. And no comments from the audience. I know some of you know the answers and have studied with the youth as well, but those can be heard up here, and if they are heard, that will disqualify that question and maybe disqualify that particular question for that team in the competition. So please, no comments out loud, no hand signals, or anything of that of that type. So at this particular time, I will read the competition rules. The 100 Black Men of Madison African American History Challenge Bowl consists of one division of the national competition, the junior division, which includes teams of 2 students who have not yet entered 9th grade. 1 additional student per team for a total of 3 team members is allowed to serve only as an alternate in case a competing student cannot participate due to unforeseen circumstances, illness or something like that. Competition rules of engagement. The local competition of African American History Challenge Bowl is open to students who have not participated in a national 100 Black Men of America African American History Challenge Bowl in the junior division. If you are were an alternate, you are eligible, but if you competed on a team, you're not. Participation is defined as competing in a round of the National 100 Black Men of America competition. Students who attend the national competition as an alternate but do not compete are eligible eligible to compete in a future competition at the local 100 Black Men of Madison and the national 100 Black Men of America levels, as long as they are eligible in their division. The rules of competition: 2 teams will compete head-to-head. First round, 12 teams. Second round, 6 teams. Third round, 3 teams, plus the highest scoring losing team from the second round. Remember that. The highest scoring losing team from the second round will move on. The 4th round is the championship round, the last 2 remaining teams. Each preliminary round will consist of 10 questions or 10 minutes, whichever comes first. Each correct answer is worth 5 points. Questions may require 2 or more, or even 3 answers to earn points for a correct answer. The moderator will read each question in full unless the team buzzes in before the question is completed. The first team to buzz in will be given the opportunity to answer the question. If a team buzzes in before the question is completed, the moderator will stop reading the question and ask them for an answer within 10 seconds. If the team's response is incorrect, the question will be read in full by the moderator, and the other team will be given 10 seconds to answer. If a team buzzes in after the question is complete, they will have 10 seconds to consult with their fellow team members before the moderator requests an answer. If the moderator has questions regarding a team's response, the judges will determine if the response is correct. Judges' decisions are final. Judges' decisions are final. Judges' decisions are final. The team with the most points at the end of the round will compete in the next round. If the score is tied at the end of the round, a tiebreaker question will be asked, and the first team to answer the question correctly will be declared the winner. One of the things that I will do as the moderator is, if your question is completely right or completely wrong, I won't say anything. If you are on the right track, I will ask you, does that complete your answer? That is a clue that I'm looking for more information, okay? Does that complete your answer? That's a clue that I'm looking for more information. But if, like I said, if the question is completely wrong or completely right, I won't say that. So this is to encourage you to think and to help bring out the information that you've studied and learned. So this is a learning opportunity as well as a competition. The final championship round rules. 20 questions will be asked in the final round. There's no time limit for the final round. Questions may require 2 or even 3 answers to earn points for a correct answer. 10-second answer rule for each question will still apply. Judges' rulings are still final. The team with the most points at the end of the final round will be declared the winner. And if the score is tied at the end of the final round, a tiebreaker question will be asked, and the first team to answer the question correctly will be declared the winner. Are there any questions about the competition rules at this particular time? Okay, cool. That means I was either really confusing or, I was really good. So we'll see which one it's confused. No comments. All participating students are awarded medals of merit acknowledging their achievement. The second and third place finishers receive trophies and monetary awards. The first place winner school will receive the 100 Black Men of Madison Mike McKinney Traveling Trophy. And as many of you may know, Mike McKinney was a distinguished member of the 100 Black Men of Madison who passed away. Each team member will receive a trophy, monetary award, and expense-paid trip to represent the Madison chapter of the 100 Black Men at the 100 Black Men of America annual conference, which this year is in Hollywood, Florida. So that's the winning team. We also have School Spirit Awards. Schools with the most guests in attendance at the local competition will receive cash awards to be used for a pizza party at their schools or whatever you decide to use it for. First place, most guests in attendance will receive $300. Second place, most guests in attendance will receive $200. And third place, most guests in attendance will receive $100. The winning team of the national competition will bring home the Haling Cup, named for the first national president of the 100 Black Men of America, Dr. William Haling. The 100 Black Men of Madison chapter was the first winner of this cup. The competitors also earned various versions of the 100 medallion. The ultimate victors earn the V for Victory Medallion, and all finalists earn the 100 Knowledge Medallion, and all competitors earn the 100 Academic Award. At the national competition, in the junior division, each competing member of the team will be awarded a $100 gift certificate, and each competing second place winner will receive a $50 gift certificate. The amounts of these awards are subject to change by the Board of Directors of the 100 Black Men of America. Please note that when a team wins the competition, the alternate student may not receive the gift card. However, all participating students will receive hats, t-shirts, and achievement medals. Those are the rules of the national competitors and not mine. Any questions on that? So those are the rules. Okay. Are we ready to get started? All right. Also, it is appropriate to clap and to show enthusiasm when the students compete. Not during the questioning, but after they give their answer or are recognized. So, who are our first teams that we are? We would like Badger Rock and Hamilton to come forward. Dr. Rose has informed me this year we're doing things a little bit different. Other competing teams need to leave and go to the lounge area. Some of the questions may be repeated, and it would not be fair for them to hear the questions. So. Where are you from?
But before we talk about this, for the big studies, every time they ask questions, like, yeah, so I don't know, I kind of want to go to Jordan, but so I say, but if I don't, just talk to them and do it.
So once you have competed in the first round, you are welcome to stay in the room until the first round is done. So you can enjoy the competition. So we'll start by having introductions. We'll start with Hamilton. I'd like you to say your name loudly and your grade.
My name is Ellie Tatum, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Lila Ward, and I'm in 7th grade.
Please give a round of applause for Hamilton Middle School. Next, we have Badger Rock, your name and your grade.
My name is Antonio Brown, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Amani Kaita, and I'm in 7th grade.
Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. So we'll have you check your buzzers. There's a little bit problem with the length of the cord, but get them as close as you can. We'll start with Hamilton. Yeah,
Okay.
if you can. And his eyesight is not that good, so. Press it, please. Press. Thank you. Think we are ready. Are we ready? You don't sound ready. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. First question, and you know the first team to buzz in gets the answer to the question. You heard the rules. Question 1. In August 1619, Hamilton.
The White Lion.
That answer is incorrect. Badger Rock, would you like to answer the question? Would you like me to read the full question?
Yeah.
Okay. In August 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans landed in what city?
We don't know.
Okay. The answer is Jamestown, Virginia. Question 2. Who did the Spanish and Portuguese first use as slaves to exploit the resources of the Western Hemisphere? Hamilton.
Native Americans.
That answer is correct. You can applaud. Question 3. Who did the Dutch West India Company promise to every, what did the Dutch West India Company promise to every white Dutch settler in the area of New York that was called New Amsterdam? The answer is 12 Africans. Question 4. Which present-day country received almost half of all slaves? Hamilton.
Brazil.
That answer is correct. Question 5. Which state dominated the African slave trade?
Point of order, please reread the question,
Okay.
if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Moderator.
Okay. Which state dominated the American slave trade? Thank you. Which state dominated the American slave trade? The answer is Rhode Island. That was interesting. We're at question 5. The score is Hamilton 10, Badger Rock 0. Still time to make a comeback. Question 6. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity? They were afraid that education would encourage them to resist. Question 7. Who is Phyllis Wheatley? Hamilton.
She wrote the poem America.
Judges.
That's not the correct answer.
Who is Phyllis Wheatley?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. She wrote the poem America.
You need to speak into the mic, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say she wrote the poem America, but if that's not the correct answer, then
The answer we're looking for is Phyllis Wheatley was the first African American to publish a book of poetry. That's the answer we were looking for. And you guys, you need to have your hands up near the buzzers, because it's also a competition of who hits the buzzer the fastest. If your hands are under the table, it's going to be very difficult to do that. So, just a tip. Yeah. Okay. Who is Jean Baptiste du Point? Who is John Baptiste Point du Sable? He was the founder of the city of Chicago. Question 9. Who was the first colonist to be killed in a series of events that led to the American Revolution? Hamilton.
Crispus Attucks.
That answer is correct. Final answer for Question 10. Who wrote the poem America?
Phyllis Wheatley.
That answer is correct. And that is the end of this round, the first round of competition. It is Hamilton 20 and Badger Rock 0. Thank you for your competing. You can stay in the auditorium if you like, but thank you. All right. Good job. So you can introduce yourself and tell us what grade you're in.
I'm Leonard Lawson, 8th grade from Cherokee Middle School.
Okay.
Aislinn Hemingway, 8th grade.
Getta Daff, 7th grade.
Malcolm Stewart, 8th grade.
Okay. All right. Give them a round of applause. Wonderful. And as I coach the other teams, maybe a little bit late, you want to keep your hands on the table so that you're able to hit the buzzer quickly, because that's part of the competition as well. And we need you to speak into the mics and respond. So, ready for question 1? Okay. Why don't you start with your test the buzzer? Hey. Why does he keep interrupting my competition? I just have no idea where we have them. Question 1. In August 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans landed
The White Lion.
Cherokee. Go ahead.
No, this is Black Hawk.
Black Hawk, I'm sorry.
The White Lion.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. In August 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans landed in what city? You have an answer?
Time.
The answer is Jamestown, Virginia. Question 2. Are your nerves gone now? You ready? You got this? Good. Who were the African elites?
The people that mostly benefited from the slavery.
Repeat your answer and speak a little clearer into the microphone, please.
The people that benefited mostly from the slavery.
That is correct.
Yes. Okay. Can I get a new buzzer corrector person here? Thank you. Next question. Are we ready? Why don't you tell me which school buzzed in, okay? Because I can't see the signs and my memory is not that long. Okay. Ready? What did the Dutch West India Company promise to every white Dutch settler in the area of New York that was called New Amsterdam?
Time.
Correct answer we're looking for is 12 Africans. Question 4. What was the name of the company founded by the British in 1672 to organize and expand British involvement in the African slave trade?
The Royal African Company.
That answer is correct. Question 5. What legal case involving a freeborn African American woman marks the beginning of organized resistance to slavery in America? The question is, what legal case involving freeborn African American women marks the beginning of organized resistance to slavery in America? The answer we're looking for is the case of Dinah Neville. The case of Dinah Neville. All right, there's no penalty for guessing, so just give us your best answer. Question 6. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity? There's no penalty. Yep, yep.
Okay. Wait, can you say it?
We need your answer. Okay. The answer we're looking for is they were afraid that education would encourage them to resist. Question 7, and we have a tie score. 3 more questions. Who is Prince Hall? Answer, please.
He was the founder of the lodge. What lodge?
No, you have to give your answer. You can't.
He was the founder of a lodge.
Does that complete your answer?
Yeah.
That answer is incomplete. I'll repeat the question for another team. Who is Prince Hall? He was the founder of the Black Freemasonry and a leader in 18th century Black Boston. So yes, he did found a lodge, but we were looking for a little bit more in the answer. So, question 8, and your hands are under the table again. Who is Richard Allen? Richard Allen was the African American Methodist Episcopal Church. He was the leader of or founder of the African American Methodist Episcopal Church. Question 9, and we still have a tie score. Who was the first colonist to be killed in a series of events that led to the American Revolution?
Crispus Attucks.
That answer is correct. Crispus Attucks. The last question. Who wrote the poem America?
Phyllis Wheatley.
That answer is correct. Thank you. You have completed your round. And the winner is Black Hawk with 15 points, 5 points. You guys shake hands. Shake hands before you leave. Who are the next 2 teams? Okay, we'd like Jefferson and O'Keefe to come into the competition. Are we ready? You ready, Jefferson?
Yes.
You ready, O'Keefe?
Yes.
All right. We'll start with O'Keefe. Say your name and your school, your grade. Name, school, and grade.
My name is Skylar, and I'm in 6th grade.
Speak a little louder, please.
My name is Skylar. I go to O'Keefe, and I'm in 6th grade.
My name is Kajada, and I'm in 7th grade.
All right. Round of applause for O'Keefe Middle School. Jefferson.
My name is Awa, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Anthony, and I'm in 7th.
Welcome them all. Well, thank you. Are we ready? Okay. Hands on the table. Ready to hit the buzzer. Okay. Test the buzzers, please. Start with. We only do that to give Mr. Scarborough something to do. So thank you. In August of 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans.
White Lion.
White Lion.
I'm sorry, would you repeat the?
White Lion.
That answer is incorrect. I will repeat the question. In August 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans landed in what city? You can't buzz in again. Jefferson, would you like to answer the question? You don't have to buzz.
Boston?
The answer is incorrect. The answer we're looking for is Jamestown, Virginia. Jamestown, Virginia. Question 2. Who were the African elites? Jefferson.
It was like a group of people who sold slaves to the Europeans for them to be captured in order. They like exchanged merchandise for like slaves.
Yeah.
That answer is correct.
Yeah. Question 3. Some Africans came to the New World to work not as...
Indentured servants.
Let me acknowledge that you buzzed in first, so we can do that. So, O'Keefe, and what was your answer?
Indentured servants.
That answer is correct. Question 4. A tie score. Notice what I did there? I rhymed. No, okay. For those who would be enslaved, how long was the voyage from the African coast to the American auction block? For those who would be enslaved, how long was the voyage from the African coast to the American auction block? The answer we're looking for is 2 months, about 2 months. Question 5, still a tie score. What denomination of Americans?
The Quakers.
That answer is correct. Question 6. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity? Jefferson.
Could you repeat?
No.
Oh, okay. They didn't want to teach them religious instruction.
That answer is incorrect. O'Keefe, I will repeat the question. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity? The answer we're looking for is they were afraid that education would encourage them to resist. Question 7. Hands are under the table again. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. Who was Prince Hall?
He was the owner of a church, an African American church.
That answer is incorrect. So, Keith, who was Prince Hall?
He opened the first Black Freemasons Lodge in Boston.
That answer is correct. Question 8. Who is Richard Allen?
Founder of St. Thomas African Episcopal Church of Philadelphia. Co-founder.
Would you repeat your answer?
Co-founder of the St. Thomas African Episcopal Church of Philadelphia.
Judges?
That answer is incorrect.
Okay. What we're looking for, he was African American Methodist Episcopal Church. That's the answer we were looking for. Question 9. What document contained ideas that both supported?
The Constitution.
That answer is correct. Question is, what document contained ideas that both supported slavery and led to its demise? And it's the answer is the Constitution. Question 10. Excuse me. Ready? Who wrote the poem America?
Phyllis Wheatley. Oh, sorry.
That answer is correct. So we have a tie score, 15-15. So I have a tiebreaker question. We ready? Ready? Okay. Why did many indentured servants and slaves join the British troops during the Revolutionary War? Jefferson.
Because they thought that if they were in the war after the war, they would be freed. They would become freed slaves.
That answer is correct. Yeah. They were promised their freedom is the answer that we were looking for. So with that, the score is 20. What? Jefferson. I'm sorry. Jefferson. What about? The score is. Is that right? Okay. Jefferson 20, O'Keefe 15. Thank you all. Thank you, guys. Just shake hands again. All right, we will start with Sherman. We want you to say your name and your grade.
You have to buzz in.
We'll do that.
My name is Xavier Diaz, and I go to Sherman Middle School.
Yeah. you can buzz.
I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Fifi Khan, and I'm in 8th grade, and I go to Sherman Middle School.
All right. Welcome, Sherman Middle School. Now we have Senate Middle School. Your name and your grade, please.
I'm Brian Siegler,
Push your button.
7th grade.
I'm Tyler
Speak
Verona.
into the mic, please.
Yeah.
I'm Tyler Verona, 7th grade.
Push your button. There you go. All right. Thank you. All right. You got to keep your hands on the table near your buzzer. Yeah, you can put it on the buzzer. I'm only saying that because some of the other teams, they had their hands in their lap, and we thought to do that. So, ready?
Yes.
All right. You ready, Mr. Buzzer Resetter? Okay, thank you. Okay. In August 1619,
White lion.
Senate,
White
speak
lion.
into the mic. That
White lion.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question.
Mr. Moderator, please ask the Senate team to make sure they are speaking into the mic so we can clearly hear them.
Yes. For both teams, we need you to speak loudly and into the mic. You can use your outside voices. We know you have them. Okay? All right. Ready? Okay. In August 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans landed in what city? No, you already buzzed in. So this is for Sherman. You don't have to buzz in. Just give me the answer. Your answer, please.
Boston, Massachusetts.
That answer is incorrect. What we're looking for is Jamestown, Virginia. Question 2. Who did the Spanish and Portuguese first use Sherman? You're fired. Sherman.
Can you repeat the question? Please, after what you
Yeah.
said.
Who did the Spanish and Portuguese first use as slave? It's time.
You can't repeat
Did I-
the question.
Okay, did I repeat it before?
No.
Okay, okay.
If they interrupt you in the middle of the question,
Right.
it has to stop at that point.
Right. But if this team,
Repeat the question for that team right
this
there.
team answered and was wrong.
No, that was
No.
last question.
They haven't had a chance? Okay, I'm confused. All right. I'll fire myself. Okay. Who did the Spanish and Portuguese first use? Oh.
We didn't.
Okay, Senate. Do you have an answer?
Well, hold on one second. Did Sherman, they're the one that interrupted. Did they attempt to answer the question?
No.
No.
Time was
The
up.
time was
Okay,
up.
now he can reread the question for the second team, the complete question.
Thank you.
Wait, we don't get an opportunity to answer?
No, you ran out of time.
Okay.
You have 10 seconds. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Is everybody good with that? Good. Who did the Spanish and Portuguese first use as slaves to exploit the resources of the Western Hemisphere?
Native Americans.
That answer is correct. Question 3. Who did the Dutch West India Company promise to what did the Dutch West,
African elites.
what was your answer?
African elites.
That answer is incorrect. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
What did the Dutch West India Company promise to every white Dutch settler in the area of New York that was called New Amsterdam?
Can you repeat it one more time?
No. The an- Okay. The answer we're looking for was 12 Africans. Question 4. Ready? And remember, you have 10 seconds to respond once you buzz in. Which present-day country received almost half?
Brazil.
That answer is correct. Question 5. Which state dominated the American slave trade? Which state dominated the American slave trade? Answer, please.
Georgia.
What was your, repeat that, please?
Georgia.
That answer is incorrect. I'll repeat the question for you. Which state dominated the American slave trade?
Is it Rhode Island?
That answer is correct. We're question 6. Scores 10-5. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity? Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity?
They didn't want them to overpower the white government.
That answer is incorrect. I'll repeat the question.
Mr. Moderator?
That answer is correct. The answer we were looking for is they were afraid that education would encourage them to resist, and overthrowing the government, as you said, is resistance. So, thank you.
Sorry.
You might want to take it, put it on the table in front of him to do that. So. Okay, question 7. Who is Phyllis Wheatley?
She was a poet who had to go to London to get her poetry published.
That answer is correct. Phyllis Wheatley was the first African American to publish a book of poetry. Question 8. You ready? Who was Jean-Baptiste Pont du Sable?
He was the.
You have to answer.
All right. He was the leader of the St. Thomas African Episcopal Church of Philadelphia. Thomas. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That answer is incorrect. I'll repeat the question. Who was Jean-Baptiste Pont du Sable?
I believe he was a man who helped found and write for the New Orleans Tribune.
That answer is incorrect. He was the founder of the city of Chicago. Question 9, scores 15-10. Who was the first colonist?
Crispus Attucks.
That answer is correct. The score of 20-10. We have our winner for this round, the Senate Middle School. You guys shake hands. Thank you very much.
For us to save a little bit of time here while our moderator is out, I would like to have the two teams introduce themselves, say your name and your grade, and then also check your buzzer. So we'll start on my left here, please.
Hi, I'm Messiah, and I'm from Toki, and I'm in 6th grade.
My name is Maya. I'm from Soki. I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Katie. I'm from Whitehorse, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Caleb, and I'm from Whitehorse, and I'm in 8th grade.
Thank you, Derek. You can blame that on Dr. Rose. So, we ready? And they've introduced themselves and tested the buzzards. First question. In August 1619,
White lion.
I'm sorry, just let us acknowledge you and then speak clearly into the microphone. Go ahead.
White lion.
That answer is incorrect. Ready? I'll read it again. In August 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans landed in what city?
Is it Portugal?
That answer is incorrect. The answer we're looking for is Jamestown, Virginia. Question 2. Who were the African elites?
A group of people awarded for the amount of Africans that they captured.
Okay, would you repeat your question and speak a little slower?
A group of people rewarded for the amount of Africans that they captured.
That answer is correct.
Contestants, please, you see how I'm speaking into this mic? Speak into the mic like that, okay? Because it's hard to hear over here, okay?
Yes, sir.
You can move the mic closer, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, some of our members are hard of hearing, so we need to speak up and move on. The answer, and that was correct, is this group benefited from the slave trade because they captured almost 90% of Africans that were shipped to the New World. Question 3. What did the Dutch West India Company promise to every white Dutch settler in the area of New York that was called New Amsterdam? They were promised 12 Africans. Question 4. Ready? Okay. What was the name of the company founded by the British in 1672 to organize and expand British involvement in the African slave trade?
The Royal African Company?
That answer is correct. And let me encourage you again to speak louder and speak into the mic, okay? Score is tied. We're at question 5. What legal case involving a freeborn African-American woman marks the beginning of organized resistance to slavery in America? The answer we're looking for is the case of Dinah Neville. The case of Dinah Neville. Question 6. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity?
They thought that they would not be able to understand it.
That answer is incorrect. I'll repeat the question. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity?
We don't know.
No answer?
No.
They were afraid that education would encourage them to resist. That's the answer we were looking for. Question 7. Who is Prince Hall? Answer, please.
He made the first white church or first African American church.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. Who is Prince Hall?
Wasn't he the first person that made the first black man free lodge?
Freemason.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
Isn't he the first black man who made the Black Freemen's Lodge?
I'll look at that.
The answer is correct, but I think I heard you say who created the first black Freemason lodge. Did you say that? That answer is correct.
That answer is correct.
Once again, students, please slow down and speak into the mic, okay? It's okay. I know you might be a little nervous. It's okay. So you got to speak into the mic so we can hear you.
Okay. Question 8. Who is Richard Allen? The answer we're looking for is he founded the African American Methodist Episcopal Church. Okay. For question 9. The score is 10-5. Question 9. Who was the first colonist to be killed in a series of events?
Crispus Attucks.
That answer is correct. Who was the first colonist to be killed in a series of events that led to the American Revolution? And that was Crispus Attucks. Question 10. Who wrote the poem America?
Phyllis Wheatley.
That answer is correct. With the score of 15-10, Toki, because that board is Toki is the winner. So, thank you. Please shake hands. They're shake hands. Okay. Press your buzzer and then give me your name and your grade, please.
Okay. My name is Nia, and I'm in 8th grade.
All right.
My name is AJ, and I'm in 8th grade.
Okay.
My name is Paul. I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Simon, and I'm in 8th grade.
All right. Welcome them. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get this party started. Question 1. In August 1619, an English ship.
White Lion.
That answer is incorrect.
Oh.
I'll reread the question. In August 1619, an English ship carrying 20 Africans landed in what city?
Jamestown, Virginia.
That answer is correct.
We gotta wait till they finish.
Question 2. Who were the African elites?
They were the people that contributed the most to slavery because they originally caught the slaves and then sold them to the Europeans.
That answer is correct. This group benefited from the slave trade because they captured almost 90% of Africans that were shipped to the New World. Question 3. Okay. It's hard to get good help around here. You know? Man. Question 3. Some Africans came to the New World to work, not as slaves, but as...
Indentured servants.
That answer is correct. Question 4. For those who would be enslaved, how long was the voyage from the African...
2 months.
That answer is correct. For those who would be enslaved, how long was the voyage from the African coast to the American auction block? About 2 months was the answer. All right. Question 5. We have a tied score. What denomination of Americans...
Quakers.
That answer is correct. The question is, what denomination of Americans moved forcefully to end slavery? And the answer is the Quakers. Question 6. Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them?
They thought it would make them revolt.
That answer is correct.
We have to get all these right to win.
Why were white people in New York opposed to educating slaves and converting them to Christianity? They were afraid that education would encourage them to resist. Question 7. Who was Prince Hall?
He was the founder of Lodge 456.
Founder of Lodge 459 or 456 or 59.
Does that complete your answer? Answer, please.
Yeah. Yes.
That completes your answer? That answer is incomplete. Who was Prince Hall?
He sung Purple Rain.
Into the mic.
He sung Purple Rain and I don't know.
Different Prince. He was singing Prince. He was singing Prince.
Nice try. Nice try. I like that answer, but it's incorrect.
Buzz in if you know it. I don't have to buzz in.
Oh, man. Where was I? I was like, threw me too all the way off. He was the founder of the Black Freemasonry and a leader in 18th century Black Boston. Question 8. Who was Richard Allen? Answer, please. Answer.
We don't know.
Okay. I'll repeat the question. Who was Richard Allen?
Richard Allen was an abolitionist.
That answer is incorrect. Richard Allen, he was founder of the African American Methodist Episcopal Church. Question 9. What document contained ideas that both supported slavery and led to its demise? No answer. Time is up. The answer we were looking for, and I heard you whisper it, is the Constitution. You didn't say it. It's the Constitution. Question 10. Who wrote the poem America?
Phyllis Wheatley.
That answer is correct. You announced the scores for the win. Spring Harbor 20, Wright 15. Please shake hands. That is the end. That is the end of round 1 competition. We're fortunate at this time to have with us our Chief of Schools for Secondary Education, Alex Fralin. And Alex would like to give a few words to you, or share a few words with you this morning. Alex?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to say first a good morning and a thank you to the 100 Black Men for their continued partnership and investment in our middle school scholars. And I want just to recognize the staff from each of our middle schools that are here who have given up their time this morning and throughout this year to support our scholars. I know we have many principals and assistant principals and staff. Could you all please stand just so we can recognize and thank you for your investment? All right. I also want to thank Dr. Clarity for his opening remarks this year. I want to thank Jamie Sins for his opening remarks last year in my absence. Let the games begin. Thank you. I'll continue.
And that's okay. Teachers, principals, administrators can never get enough recognition. So for the work that you do, so we appreciate that. Black Hawk, Hamilton. Where's Hamilton? All right. Okay, we'll start with you. Push your buzzer, your name and your grade, please.
My name is Lila Ward, and I'm in 7th grade.
Okay. Where's the reset guy? I did fire him, though. I didn't mean it.
My name is Ellie Tatum, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Getta Daff. I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Malcolm Stewart. I'm in 8th grade.
You have the chair. Thank you, sir. All right. At this time in the competition, I want to remind you that the highest scoring losing team will also move on to the next round. So it's imperative that you do the best that you can, score as many points as you can, win or lose. So are you ready? You ready? Here he comes. He's late, but he's here. And it's like, man, it's like, geez. Okay, all right. First question. On April 14th, 1865, this man was assassinated.
Abraham Lincoln.
That answer is correct. Next question. George Washington Carver used his position as a
Tuskegee Institute.
That answer is correct. Next question. Fighting under General Pershing and Teddy Roosevelt, African American soldiers earned 23 medals of honor.
Buffalo Soldiers.
That answer is correct. Fighting under General Pershing and Teddy Roosevelt, African American soldiers earned 23 medals of honor, and what nickname? And the nickname was Buffalo Soldiers. Next question. The author of the autobiography of an ex-colored man. The author of the autobiography of an ex-colored man. We're looking for the name.
Time.
Name we're looking for is James Weldon Johnson. James Weldon Johnson. Next question. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth question. Her original school eventually combined with nearby Cookman.
Mary McLeod Bethune.
That answer is correct. Next question. The monthly magazine, The Crisis, was written by W.E.B. Du Bois to support what new organization?
NAACP.
That answer is correct. Next question. In 1831, he led a slave revolt.
Nat Turner.
That answer is correct. Next question. Not only was she famous for her work with the...
Harriet Tubman.
That answer is correct. Not only was she famous for her work with the Underground Railroad, freeing 79 slaves, but she also worked as a spy during the Civil War. Her name was Harriet Tubman. 2 more questions. His travels from Missouri to Minnesota.
Dred Scott.
That answer is correct. His travels from Missouri to Minnesota became the basis of a major Supreme Court case about slavery. Dred Scott is the answer we were looking for. This is the final question of this round. This place was the first to end slavery in the United States in 1862.
District of Columbia.
That answer is correct. Derek?
The winner of that round was Black Hawk with 25, Hamilton with 20.
All right, thank you. Please shake hands. Please shake hands. Please. That's good. All right. Your name and grade. Press your buzzer. Say your name and grade. Start over here.
Awa. I'm in 8th grade.
Anthony, I'm in 8th grade.
Tyler, I'm in 7th grade.
Brian, I'm in 7th grade.
All right. Give a round of applause. We're in the second round. Are we ready? You need anything? Water? We good? Okay, cool. First question. By 1865, more black students had been admitted.
Oberlin College.
That answer is correct. By 1865, more black students had been admitted to this college than any other colleges and universities combined. Oberlin College. Next question. Released in 1845, this author's autobiography as...
Frederick Douglass.
That answer is correct. Released in 1845, this author's autobiography has been a touchstone of American literature. Who was this author? Some grammar stuff going on in that question. Okay. Next question. The legal precedent for separate but equal was based.
The Mississippi. Mississippi Plan.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. The legal precedent for separate but equal was based on a failed attempt to rid what city of whites-only schools?
Boston.
That answer is correct. Next question. The story of a president having a daughter.
Thomas Jefferson.
That answer is correct. The story of a president having a daughter with a slave, written by William Wells Brown, focused on what president? And Thomas Jefferson is the answer we were looking for. Next question. This was issued on January 1st, 1863.
That's it.
That's it?
Oh.
Emancipation Proclamation.
That answer is correct. This was issued on January 1st, 1863. The answer we were looking for was the Emancipation Proclamation. Next question. Congress passed this on January 31st, 1865.
13th Amendment.
That answer is correct. Four more questions. Still time. This amendment gives all people equal protection.
14th Amendment.
That answer is correct. Yeah, keep your hand on the buzzers. This amendment gives all people equal protection under the laws, the 14th Amendment. Next question. He was one of the first doctors to perform it.
Dr. Daniel Hale Williams.
That answer is correct. He was one of the first doctors to perform an open heart surgery and successful operation on a hemorrhaging spleen. Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. Two more questions. This Supreme Court case about a Louisiana law.
The slaughterhouse case.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. This Supreme Court case about a Louisiana law regarding railway companies set the precedent of separate but equal.
Plessy v. Ferguson.
That answer is correct. This is the last question of this round. This newspaper became the nation's...
The Freedom's Journal.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. This newspaper became the nation's most popular African-American newspaper in the early 20th century.
The Chicago Defender.
That answer is correct. job. There you go. Sorry, press your buzzer. Give us your name and grade, please.
I'm Simon, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Paul, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Maya, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Messiah, and I'm in 6th grade.
Again, I remind you to project loud so we can hear and speak clearly. We ready? Yeah. Ready? All right. Go. First question. Yeah, he's going to have a hissy. Do that. When it landed in Long Island, New York, controversy ensued about the rights of the men that led a mutiny aboard what ship?
The Creole?
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. You want me to reread the question?
Okay, yeah.
When it landed in Long Island, New York, controversy ensued about the rights of the men that led a mutiny aboard what ship?
White Lion?
That answer is incorrect. Do we have anything that's an answer to this? The White Line is the answer incorrect. I don't know where that came from. Next question.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Armistead. Reset the buzzer. Had to wake him up. See, he's like, gee, come on. Next question. Ready? Abraham Lincoln reportedly told Harriet Beecher Stowe that this book made this great war.
Uncle Tom's Cabin.
That answer is correct. Abraham Lincoln reportedly told Harriet Beecher Stowe that this book made this great war, and that book was Uncle Tom's Cabin. I heard a phone. Remember, you're supposed to turn them off, put them on mute, or put them on stun. Either way, it works for me, okay? Next question. The story of a president having a daughter with a slave written by...
Clotel, the President's Daughter by William Bells Brown.
I'm sorry, could you speak louder into the mic?
Clotel, or the President's Daughter by William Bells Brown.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. The story of a president having a daughter with a slave written by William Wells Brown focused on what president?
Thomas Jefferson.
That answer is correct. The story of a president having a daughter with a slave written by William Wells Brown focused on what president, and that president was Thomas Jefferson. Okay. At the start of the Civil War, even though newspapers asked for it, Union military leaders made it clear they would not support what? I'll reread that. At the start of the Civil War, even though newspapers asked for it, Union military leaders made it clear they would not support what?
Black soldiers.
That answer is correct. Next question. Congress passed this on January 31st.
Emancipation Proclamation.
That answer is incorrect. Do you want to answer or you want me to reread the question?
I'll answer.
Okay.
13 amendments.
I'm sorry?
13 amendments.
The 13th Amendment is correct. That answer is correct. Next question. This amendment gives all people equal protection of the laws.
14th amendment.
That answer is also correct.
15
This amendment gives all people equal protections under the laws, and that amendment is the 14th Amendment. Okay. Next question. She became the first African-American woman lawyer.
Charlotte Ray.
That answer is correct. She became the first African-American woman lawyer. Her name is Charlotte Ray. 3 questions remaining. The Supreme Court case about a Louisiana law regarding railway.
Plessy versus Ferguson.
That answer is correct. The Supreme Court case about a Louisiana law regarding railway companies set the precedent of separate but equal. Plessy versus Ferguson. Next question. On October 16th, 1901, Booker T. Washington famously
Dinner at the White House with President Roosevelt.
That answer is correct.
Mr. Moderator, point of order. Let's check the buzzers again.
It's not working.
Okay, this young man had a question. Direct it to the moderator.
When right before you said the question, I pressed my buzzer, but it didn't go off.
Before I said the question?
Well, when you were saying the question, I clicked it, but then it went off.
Press it again. If you have pressed it and someone beat you to it, it will not go off.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
This is why you need to, if you know you need to do it as quick as possible. This is why I say put your hand on the buzzer. It's about how quickly you can buzz in. Okay?
Okay, where was I? Okay. That was on October 16th, 1901. Booker T. Washington famously had dinner with President Theodore Roosevelt. This is the last question for this round. This newspaper became the nation's most popular African-American newspaper in the early 20th.
Freedom's Journal.
That answer is incorrect. This newspaper became the nation's most popular African-American newspaper in the early 20th century.
Chicago Defender.
That answer is correct.
We all heard the last question, though.
Derek?
We all heard the last.
Matt Round, Spring Harbor with 25, Toki with 20.
Awesome. But also remember, the highest scoring losing team will move forward. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. What, that's where we are now? Okay. Okay, I need Hamilton and Toki back. They are tied with 20 points each. And we need to break the tie. Hamilton and Toki. Okay, it's a one-question tiebreaker. One-question tiebreaker. Hands on the buzzer. Everyone ready? Ready? Released in 1845, this author's autobiography,
Frederick Douglass.
that answer is correct. Now, so I just want you to test your buzzers.
Simon, and I'm in 8th grade.
Guess not. Go ahead.
I'm Paul.
I'm Getta, 7th grade.
I'm Malcolm.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We ready for round 3? Ready for round 3. Okay. Yeah. All right. Question 1. This man wrote prolifically.
Henry Highland Garnet.
That answer is correct. The question is, this man wrote prolifically for the black press, but his best known speech is addressed to the slaves of the United States in 1843. Henry Highland Garnet. Next question. When the Supreme Court struck down the Civil Rights Act of 1875, Southern states started passing laws that were commonly called
Jim Crow laws.
That answer is correct. Next question. Ida B. Wells wrote the book Southern Horrors that started a national campaign against what?
Lynching.
Does that complete your question, your answer?
Lynching and discrimination against black people.
That answer is correct. Ida B. Wells wrote a book, Southern Horrors, that started a national campaign against the lynching of African Americans, and that's what we were looking for, the lynching of African Americans. Next question. The author of the autobiography of an ex-colored man.
James Weldon Johnson.
That answer is correct. Next question. The monthly magazine, The Crisis,
NAACP.
that answer is correct. The monthly magazine, The Crisis, was written by W.E.B. Du Bois to support what new organization, and an organization was the NAACP. Question 6. Released in 1845, this author's autobiography has been a touchstone. I have to correct that. Released in 1845, this author's autobiography has been a touchstone of American literature. Who was this author?
Frederick Douglass.
That answer is correct. Next question. She was the first African American woman to have a novel published. Answer, please. Answer, please.
Harriet Wilson.
That answer is correct. She was the first African American woman to have a novel published, Harriet Wilson. Next question. On October 16, 1859, there was a raid on this.
Harper's Ferry.
That answer is correct. On October 16, 1859, there was a raid on this arsenal in Virginia, and it was Harper's Ferry. 2 questions left. This place was the first to end slavery in the United States.
District of Columbia.
That answer is correct. This place was the first to end slavery in the United States in 1862, although President Lincoln would have preferred a border state to do it first, and that state was the District of Columbia, or that place, because it's not a state. So, yeah. Last question. Congress passed this on January 30th.
Spring Harbor.
13th Amendment.
That answer is correct. Congress passed this on January 31st, 1865. It was the 13th Amendment.
30 points, Spring Harbor, 20, Black Hawk.
All right, give them a round of applause. You guys shake hands. Shake hands. We would like Senate and Hamilton Middle School teams to come forward. Hey, why don't we start by checking your buzzers? Say your name and grade again.
My name is Lila Ward, and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Ellie Tatum, and I'm in 7th grade.
Brian Siegler, 7th grade.
Tyler Verona, 7th grade.
Okay, all right. Give them a round of applause, please. Okay. First question. This man wrote prolifically for the black press, but his best-known speech is addressed to the slaves of the United States.
Henry Highland Garnett.
That answer is correct. This man wrote prolifically for the black press, but his best-known speech is addressed to the slaves of the United States in 1843. And that was Henry Highland Garnett. Next question. When the Supreme Court struck down the Civil Rights Act of 1875, Southern states were passing, let me start over. When the Supreme Court struck down the Civil Rights Act of 1875, Southern states started passing laws that were commonly called
Jim Crow.
That answer is correct. So what, you're faster than me. Ida B. Wells wrote the book Southern Horrors that started a national...
The lynching of African Americans.
That answer is correct. Ida B. Wells wrote the book Southern Horrors that started a national campaign against what? And that is the lynching of African Americans. Next question. The author of the autobiography of an ex-colored man.
James Weldon Johnson.
That answer is also correct. Next question. The monthly magazine The Crisis was written by... Answer, please.
Time.
Yeah, we
Answer.
don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. I'll repeat the question for you. The monthly magazine The Crisis was written by W.E.B. Du Bois to support what new organization?
NAACP.
That answer is correct. Next question, question 6. Released in 1845, this author's autobiography had...
Frederick Douglass.
That answer is correct.
And the one before.
Yeah, but we do repeat. Yeah. So you should have known the answer, right? Yeah. Okay. Question 7. She was the first African American woman to have a novel published.
Harriet Wilson.
That answer is correct. Next question. On October 16th, 1859, there was a raid on this arsenal.
Harper's Ferry.
That answer is correct. Two more questions. This place was the first to end slavery in.
District of Columbia.
That answer is correct. Last question. Congress passed this on January 31st, 1865.
13th Amendment.
And that answer is correct as well. Please give him a round of applause. Nope, go right into it. All right, we'd like Spring Harbor and Senate to come up for the championship round. Are we ready? So the final round will consist of 20 questions. There's no time limit for this round. And the questions may require 2 or more, sometimes even 3 answers for the correct answer. 10-second answer rule for each question still applies. Judges' rulings are still final. A team with the most points in the final round will be declared the winner. Also, in conclusion of the final round, we want all the teams, coaches to come forward, take photos, receive your awards. We will do a presentation of first, second, third place, and we'll go from there. Test your buzzer.
Tyler Verana, 7th grade.
Brian Siegler, 7th grade.
Simon in 8th grade.
My name is Paul. I'm in 8th grade.
Okay. All right. First question. Who was the first African American to win a Pulitzer Prize?
Duke Ellington.
That answer is incorrect. I'll repeat the question. Who was the first African American to win a Pulitzer Prize?
Gwendolyn Brooks.
That answer is correct. Question 2. Which of the following authors wrote the novel Invisible Man?
Ralph Ellison.
That answer is correct. Which of the following authors wrote the novel Invisible Man? A. Richard Wright. B. Ralph Ellison. C. James Baldwin. The answer was Ralph Ellison. Question 3. What is the name of the woman whose refusal in 1956?
Rosa Parks.
Say it again.
Rosa Parks.
That answer is correct. What is the name of the woman whose refusal in 1956 to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, helped to launch the modern civil rights movement? And that was Rosa Parks. No. No, we got it. Okay. Question 4. What was the Great Migration?
And 1 million African Americans traveled north during World War I for jobs.
Judges, that answer is correct. Questions, what was the Great Migration? Mass movement of black people from the South to the North, West, and Midwest was the answer we were looking for. Question 5. Who is the author of the collection of essays titled The Souls of Black Folk?
Is it W.E.B. Du Bois?
That answer is correct. What is the name of the organization that was formed in 1957 with Martin Luther King Jr. as
SCLC.
That answer is correct. What was the name of the organization that was formed in 1957 with Martin Luther King Jr. as its president? The Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Question 7. Who was the first African American player to be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Jackie Robinson.
That answer is correct. Which of the following institutions became a hub for training black pilots doing
Tuskegee Institute.
That answer is correct. Which of the following institutions became a hub for training black pilots during World War II? And that answer is Tuskegee Institute or Tuskegee University. Question 9. Who was Paul Robeson?
He was an actor and a playwright.
Does that complete your answer? Judges? Okay. That answer is incomplete or incomplete. I should say.
I believe Paul Robeson was a man who was the valedictorian of his class, and he formed an organization, but that was eventually stopped because of his beliefs in Stalinism and communism.
Does that complete your answer?
Yes.
Repeat the answer again and say it into the mic a little clearer, please.
Paul Robeson was the valedictorian of his class, and when he formed his group, it eventually led to its demise because he believed in Stalinism and communism.
Okay. I'm going to rule that answer incorrect, apparently incomplete. Paul Robeson, the answer we were looking for is he was an athlete, an actor, a singer, and a civil rights activist. Okay. Question 10. What is the Ku Klux Klan?
A white supremacy group.
That answer is correct. What is the Ku Klux Klan? A white supremacist hate group was the answer we're looking for. Question 11. Who was Jack Johnson?
He was the first U.S. heavyweight boxing champion.
Does that complete your answer?
No. He was also he was famous for his relationships with white women.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have, although that is true, that is not the answer we're looking for. All right. Would you like me to repeat? Who was Jack Johnson?
He was a boxer.
Does that complete your answer?
He was a famous boxer.
That's true also, but it's not the answer we're looking for. Jack Johnson was the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion.
That's what I said.
But you didn't say African-American.
What?
That's what we were looking for.
That's
You said the first world champion.
so
So we're looking for it, so.
I believe the term was first U.S. That's the one that I heard.
Yeah, first U.S.
First U.S.
champ.
That's what you said,
So
son.
we were looking more for the first African-American heavyweight boxing champion. Okay. Next question. We ready? We good? I mean, you guys had good answers, but they weren't the ones we were looking for. Who was Carter G. Woodson?
He was a writer.
Does that complete your answer? Okay. I'll repeat it. Who was Carter G. Woodson?
We don't know.
No? He was an African-American historian, founder of the Negro History Week. Question 13. Association for the Advancement of Colored People found.
NAACP.
That answer is incorrect. I'll reread the question. The Association for the Advancement of Colored People was founded in what year? It should be the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People was founded.
The buzzers don't work.
Yeah, you don't have to buzz it.
1909.
That answer is incorrect. The answer we were looking for was 1910. 1910. All right. Question 14. Who was Madam C.J. Walker?
Madam C.J. Walker was the first woman African-American millionaire, and through her fortune, she created beauty products.
That answer is correct. Madam C.J. Walker was one of the wealthiest African Americans of her time, founder of hair care and beauty products for black people. Question 15. Who was Martin Luther King? Excuse me, let me back up. Clear? Clear? Okay. When was Martin Luther King Day first celebrated?
Uh, 1968.
That answer is incorrect.
1980.
I'll read it. When was Martin Luther King Day first celebrated?
1986.
That answer is correct. Question 16. Who were the Buffalo Soldiers?
They protected Native Americans from white settlers, and they were the first park rangers.
That answer is incorrect. Question. Who were the Buffalo Soldiers?
I believe they were men who fought under General Pershing, and they earned many awards for their service.
That answer is correct. Who were the Buffalo Soldiers? They were members of the U.S. Army, all-black 9th and 10th Cavalry. Question 17. Who was the first person of African descent to receive a PhD from Harvard
W.E.B. Du Bois.
That answer is correct. Question 18. Who in 1967 became disillusioned with the support?
Martin Luther King Jr.
That answer is correct. The question was, who in 1967 became disillusioned with the support of President Johnson and began to criticize the president and the Vietnam War? And the correct answer was Martin Luther King Jr. Question 19. What is the legislation that prohibited states from using measures
Voting Rights Act of 1965.
That answer is correct. The question is, what is the legislation that prohibited states from using measures to deny or abridge the right of any citizen of the United States to vote on? And the answer is Voting Rights Act of 1965. Last question. Who is the first female African American?
Shirley Chisholm.
That answer is incorrect. Who is the first female African American major general in the history of the United States Army?
Jocelyn Elders.
That answer is also incorrect. General Anderson, would you like to stand up?
Please stand.
Marsha Anderson. The question is, who was the first female African-American major general in the history of the United States Army? And is our very own Marsha Anderson here with us today. Thank you. That concludes the final of the African American History Challenge Bowl, and our champion is? Our second place, give him a round of applause. Second place is Senate. Third place, you figure that out, okay? Give us a few minutes to prepare for the award ceremony and to congratulate all of our youth who participated. Thank you for your time this morning, and please stay a few more minutes to honor them. Thank you. If we could have all of the student participants and their coach come to the stage, please. All of the students, all the teams, and their coach or coaches come to the stage, please. Just line up in front here. Yeah. Yes, good job. So we're going to take a few pictures, hand out the participation medals, and then we'll get into the award ceremony for first, second, and third place. While we're taking photos, I want to acknowledge and give recognition to Drew Smith, who was on our first African American History Challenge Bowl team 24 years ago and is a teacher at Senate Middle School. Drew, raise your hand. Drew. And his team won the national championship 24 years ago. And he's now a teacher in the Madison Schools District. So. Yeah, we'd like the teams to stay on the stage. First place, Spring Harbor, Senate, and Black Hawk, third place. But thank you all, young people. Thank you all for your dedication. And know that you're all winners. You all winners. And if you could do this, you could do anything.
exercise for the day. Congratulations.